Okay, good morning. This is Monday, April 11th. This is our warm-up for today. I already talked about the new 6-week calendar for any ACA students. It is posted on Canvas. It's in the top section of the modules. It's not at the top, but it's in the resource section. There should be a link to the 6-week calendar if you need to take a look-see. But this is our warm-up, pause, and play when you're ready to answer. Okay, my class. Who wants to talk about something? Brody, what's something?
Ms. Gibson.
Yep.
Her credit's gonna go low because she hasn't paid on time 3 months in a row.
Yeah, and that's gonna be bad. Okay, that does not look good on you. That is gonna lower your credit score. There's no set amount that it's gonna lower, but it would go down. Okay. What about T. Wilson? Lana, go for it.
I put good.
Okay. Because.
Oh, because you paid it early, but that's not what I wrote down.
Yeah. But definitely it's a good thing. You want to add to that? Credit score would typically go up for that. Okay. When you're paying on time or early, that's a good thing. That means those people get their money back sooner, which they like, and they happy and they smile. Yay. Okay, the last little bit, the last little question, it says, how long will any negative credit actions be reflected on a credit report? What was that magic number, class?
7 years.
7 years. Let's get the whole time. How long was that? 7 years. Negative actions are there for one more time? 7 years. So, again, it's not your whole lifetime, but it's still a considerable amount of time. Okay? All right. So, today, I think we're in the last day, so it's talking about banking stuff. We have some more tomorrow, but we're approaching the end. Today, we're going to be talking about college. Congratulations, you all got in college. All right. So, because we're talking about money, we're going to be talking about like different costs of college. Okay, there are different levels of colleges, there's different costs of colleges, private versus public universities, and then even community colleges. You have so many options as a human being, okay, because even college isn't even going to be the path that everyone takes, but there's still options for those people, okay? So, right now, take a few minutes. I want y'all in that box up there to brainstorm and write down at least 4 or 5 college costs. Okay, at home, like these are great questions to ask your parents at home. Just be like, hey, what are some things you have to pay for? And just see what kind of stuff they okay, take a second. All right, so here are some things on here. Here we go. So tuition. Did anyone have tuition on their list?
No.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
All right, tuition, that's like the cost to attend a college. Then it says room and board. This is just a fancy way of saying housing. Okay, you gotta pay for your room. You got food, textbooks, transportation. There's other stuff that I would also include in there. Did anyone have anything else that they put on their list? Yes, sir? Okay, Lucy? Dorm is on there for room and board. Lana?
Clothes.
Clothes. Okay, you can definitely say clothes. A lot of people take stuff up, but in those 4 years, you will probably purchase some others. Books is up there, yep.
Bedding.
Bedding is probably going to go with room and board. Supplies. I would add supplies in there. Yes, you've got binders, you've got pencils, papers, stuff like that. Again, if I'm talking, it's rude to talk while someone else is talking. So supplies. This could include like technology. A lot of times college students have like laptops, iPads, some sort of devices. Yes? Okay, so I would still include that in your room and board housing. That's going to be stuff, items that you have in your house. But yes, yes. Again, I would include that in that or with the food. Okay, yes, ma'am. Products would go into housing. Okay, I like where you're going. You are thinking about the nitty gritty. I'm just talking about like more generalized stuff. Would go with supplies or room and board. Very good. I'm gonna say like sporting events or events in general. Sporting /events. So like when you go to football, you know how we have like football, basketball, volleyball games that y'all can go to. They have them there too. Okay, going to like Texas A&M or TT or Texas Tech. And there's other events, yes.
If you play a sport, you get it for free.
If you play a sport, yes, you usually get in for free. So like with Miss Lionel, since I was in the band, I got to go to all the sports for free because I had to play at the games a lot of the times. Okay, so it was sort of my payment.
Also, how do you play at a basketball game?
When they have breaks and timeouts and stuff like that. We didn't play at every single basketball game, but we did do some. Yes. I played with Blues. Okay. All right. I would say there's also like organizations, Those are like, you know how we have clubs here? They have clubs in college too. Okay. Like they had a theater group. They had people who like to read. They did free reading and writing. But people like that and people enjoy that and they'll get together and have those things. We had groups that would volunteer with like organizations where like there was homeless people or people who needed help with this. As an education major, I volunteered to work at different schools to help get me some hours that made me look good on like my resume. Yes.
Wait, what's it called when people are? Oh yeah, acapella.
Yes, that's like a club that you could be in, like an acapella. Like if you see Glee. Like the singing, there's choirs that you can be in. I was in the military weird thing, and that's considered sort of kind of an organization or a club where I had to wear a uniform, and so I had to pay for those uniforms. JROTC, but it was an ROTC because J stands for junior, and I was in college, so it's not. Okay, but yeah, exactly. So those are all types of things. So let's keep going. We're going to look at some vocab. So next you have a list of definitions, and then you have a list of words right next to it. I want y'all to take a minute, see if y'all can match up any of those words with those definitions. Okay? See if you know what a scholarship and a grant and all that stuff is. Ready, set, pause, and play. All right, so let's see. If you missed one or two, that is totally fine. Let's go ahead and fix them. Okay, the first one, it says funds awarded based on financial need. Okay, based on if you're from a family that isn't so well off. Okay, maybe money, you'll struggle with finances a little bit. That doesn't mean that you're never going to college. Okay, what that means, if you're from a low income household, you can apply to get grants where the government says, hey, we acknowledge, we see how much hard work you've been doing, you've gotten all pre-AP classes, all A's and those things, and we see that money is just a struggle, we will help you out and we will give you a grant. Okay, a grant, that's the government again giving you that money and you don't have to pay it back. Okay, because they're assuming because you've been working so hard, you're going to continue to work hard and you've earned that money. Okay, that's when people just need that extra help. Okay, now that does not apply to a lot of people, unfortunately. Okay, there's a lot of people in the world, and the government can't just go around giving away all of the money in the world because some of that money has to go other places. Okay, so other ways to help pay. You can get funds awarded based on merit. So like you can get it based on academic success or based on athletic success or fine arts success. Okay, a lot of y'all have heard about like full ride scholarships for different sports, whether it's football, volleyball, baseball, basketball, like all the sports. But there are scholarships for other things. You can get band scholarships, you can get choir scholarships, you can get a cappella singing crew scholarships. You can get scholarships for creative writing. You can get scholarships for this and that. Yes, because they have competitions in high school. You'll hear about these different competitions going on all the time about different scholarships. I know there was a scholarship if you got an SAT, if you took the SATs and got a perfect score on the SATs, they gave you a scholarship because it's a really hard thing to do. But if you're showing academic merit, you're showing that you're really good, they will give you a scholarship. Okay? Now, the thing about scholarships is they're not all full ride. There are partial scholarships. So Ms. Lagel, when I was in the band at A&M, because a lot of girls didn't want to do this military type living, they actually really appreciated when girls joined the band. And I got a scholarship because I was a female in the Corps of Cadets. Yes. Okay? Because they were like, she puts up with a lot of boys and she has to live with all those boys. Ugh, poor thing, let's give her like a scholarship. And again, it wasn't a full ride, but it was a couple $100 each year that I didn't have to pay for. It was a random family I had never met before, and they were like, hey, we see what you're doing, take this scholarship. I said,
So family could say we want to give her a scholarship.
Yeah.
I want to get
okay, that's sort of how a lot of scholarship works. Is through the alumni association, like different, like former students, when you graduate, you're considered, you're like an alumni of that school. A lot of alumni of different universities will want to give back to their universities. And what they'll want to do is they'll set up a scholarship. Not everyone does this, but there's a lot of people out there who want to set up scholarships. So like my mom has a scholarship at A&M for females in engineering, because that's what she did at A&M. And so she picked out like one person, and she provides, again, not the full tuition, but provides some money to that person to help them go to college. Okay? So there's different partial scholarships. You can get them for weird things like creative writing, write a story. Sometimes if you win a competition, they will give you a scholarship. Pretty cool. All right. Scholarships, the cool thing about them, again, it's people giving you money and you don't have to pay it back. Just like with grants, you do not have to pay back scholarships. Next, funds that must be paid back with interest, those are student loans. Okay, student loans is that third one. Student loans, because they are loaning you that money, that means you have to pay it back. Usually you're getting student loans from like a bank, that's probably the most common, student loans. Okay, because student loans are very expensive, it takes time to pay it off. Okay, a lot of times in college, a lot of people don't work. So it's about half and half, I would say. Like half people do work, half people don't. And so you can't pay off those student loans like in a year. Honestly, it usually takes over 10 years to pay off your student loans, because when you're working, you're not just paying for student loans. You're still having to pay for your rent then, your food then, for your housing then. Ladies, please and thank you. Okay? So student loans take a while to pay off. And so because of that, banks will charge you that interest. Okay, so again, is interest additional or something you take away? It's an additional cost. Y'all good with that? Okay, next one, provides a part-time job while enrolled in college and is available to students with financial needs. This is a work study program. So this is like if you were working in the rec center or the library at your school. Universities love to provide jobs for their students to help them pay, to help them keep going to that university. So a lot of the jobs that you see at universities are worked by students at that school. Okay, that way, instead of being paid like a job, what they'll do is they'll get paid, but they'll say, okay, can you send like 50% of my paycheck? Can you send that to the university to pay for my tuition, or 20%? They sort of can decide how much they want to go towards tuition, but that is a way to make it happen. Okay, that's a way to lower your student loan. And then lastly are savings. These are funds that have been placed in an account for the purpose of paying for college expenses. So a lot of times, again, not 100% of the time, but a lot of times parents will start a savings account when y'all are young kids. Okay, they'll start setting that money aside so that they can build it up. Because in a second, we'll look at how much it actually costs to go to university, and you're going to see that it's a really big number. Okay, so parents will start saving early on so that when college does come around, it's all like, woo, okay, it's more okay. But again, you have grants, you have scholarships, and all that good stuff. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Hopefully that means
What about the rest of it?
what? Well, that's that. Let's do this top part, right? That's the bottom of your page. This one right here. Okay, we're sort of skipping around. So, just to summarize everything Ms. Huddle just ranted about, how are scholarships and grants different, and how are they the same? Grants and scholarships, how are they the same, and how are they different?
Grants.
Thank you for raising your hand.
For grants, they have to do with how much, like, if you're a low income family.
It's based on financial need. Okay, and that's different, Ryan.
Grants still need to pay back the scholarship.
That's incorrect.
Well, someone that has a comment is that need to pay back.
Okay, so I'll put that in a second, but what's different about scholarships? They're not based on financial need, they're based on, Lana?
They're like based on like if you're doing something, the school will pay for you to go to do.
And they're based on what? Is it based on finances? Is it based on
Skill?
skill? Okay? Scholarships is based on academic slash athletic skill. Skill. Okay, but for both of them, both do not get paid back. Okay, I will add on to there, you don't have to write this down, but I'll just say it. Those do have like terms and conditions, like if you're failing at school, like at university, you're failing all of your classes, they will probably take away those grants and those scholarships. So you gotta make sure that you're still staying on top of it, because they'd rather pay for someone who's being successful through it all and gonna graduate rather than someone. Okay, so just through all those words above, at the top, what were the types of financial aids that are awarded or earned? What were the different things? Look at that list of 5 things. Which ones are awarded or earned? Which one of them?
Earned is a scholarship.
Scholarships are earned. Go ahead, start it out.
Grants.
Grants. There's one more.
Work study.
Work study is the last one, because you earn that by working. Work study. Okay? Which types are borrowed? Which ones do you have to pay back? No.
Student loans.
Student loans have to be paid back.
Yeah.
Student loans are the only ones that have to be paid back. And sometimes they also have interest. Yes, sir.
If you're failing your class and you paid to go to college,
They can't. They'll put you on what's called academic probation first. So sometimes people have a rough semester. Things happen that are out of our control, or maybe you just had a rough semester and you might fail a few classes. If it's failing, and I'm not saying like you might fail one class and they won't count that as credit towards your graduation, but they're also not gonna like kick you out after failing one. But if you're failing, if you're like, let's say you're taking 5 classes and you failed like 3 of them, and your GPA, your grade point average, if that gets to be low enough, they'll put you on academic probation, saying, okay, we see that semester was rough, but you got to get back on track. So you have this next semester to bring those grades up. If you don't bring it up, if you fail more, then eventually they do kick you out, even if you're paying to go. Because it's still. They don't want to totally take all your money away from you and get nothing out of it. Absolutely not. They do not give you a refund on your money. No. Okay? That's your responsibility. That's in the paper that you sign, but no, I will not get my money back, even if I fail. Okay, so we're going to sort some things. This is not on your paper, but y'all just tell me whether it's going to be a cost of college or a way to pay. Again, cost or way to pay. So we got lots of things. So I see the first one, I thought tuition. Is that a cost or a way to pay? It is a cost. Bus fare is a cost. Room and board. Family support. Ways to pay. Car and gas. Cost. Grant. Ways to pay. Scholarship. Ways to pay. Bike. Cost. Textbooks. Saving. Ways to pay. Work study. Ways to pay. Okay, so at home, take a pause and read through those and look at those. Okay, in my class, let's take a look at those numbers. Those numbers are not totally crazy numbers. Okay, you might see, wow, that's tuition. That's a really high tuition. Honestly, that's not that bad of a tuition. Okay, $12,000 per year is about average. If you're looking to go to a private school, if you're thinking like, ooh, I really want to go to Harvard or Yale or something like that, those are really expensive. I'll show you how much they cost in a few seconds here. But just talking about it, it's expensive. Okay? Now, I'll also add on to this that there's ways to sort of get around some of these things. Again, you've got scholarships, grants, savings, and stuff like that, but there's other things. Bus fare is not something you always have to pay. I know at A&M, bus fare was actually included in our tuition. They have a set of buses on campus that will drive you from one side of campus to the other. My CAP students were talking about, yeah, because they were like, how long are passing periods in college, okay? They're about 20 minutes long, but classes can be about a mile apart, okay? Like A&M, our campus was a mile across and a mile long, okay? So that's a mile by a mile, mile. Okay, you could have a class on this corner, you have to go to the other corner, which is like a mile or over a mile. Okay, so they give you about 20 minutes to do that. You can catch a bus, you can ride your bike, you can walk across. People are also eating like snacks and lunch because there's no set lunch time because people have classes at different times. Some people will eat during that time, they'll brush up and study before their tests and stuff like that. Okay, but that 20 minutes, it's a reasonable amount of time to consider. Okay, so again, bus fare is not guaranteed. For mid-morning tuition, those are pretty set. Car and gas. You don't have to take a car up to college. I did not take one my first 2 years because I was trying to save money. I didn't want to pay for that. But you do have to pay for like parking spots a lot of times. Okay, even if you're enrolled at that school, like at A&M, I was paying tuition. I also had to pay for a parking spot. Okay, that could be tough. It depends. So that what they have there, that's car and gas, so that's talking about parking passes and the cost of gas while you're up there. It was several $100s per semester or per year multiplied by 2. And so that's why I didn't take one until I was a junior, because I was like, I don't want to spend my money. I was like, I can just catch a ride with my friends. They're going the same place as I am. Also, those buses will take you, like, at A&M, they would take you to, like, HEB or, like, Kroger or wherever you need to go shopping.
This place is that big, then a gas station over there.
Well, it's a city. It's call it A&M is in a city called College Station, and so like people live there normally. Like here is Katy, like they have. It's just there's a campus in the middle of it. Yes.
If you get a parking spot, you can keep that for the rest of your entire college.
You have to pay each year usually. Yeah, you pay for that parking spot each year because people will graduate not bring cars. Lukman?
How much do you pay for tuition? That's bad.
I mean, that's probably about on par. I can't remember exactly because things change over time, but that's probably about on average. At the end of the lesson, I'll Google search different universities so you don't have to see the different costs. Okay. Food. A lot of people buy what's called a meal plan. So you pay up front X amount of dollars, and that buys you like so many meals for the year, and you just swipe your ID. Your ID has like the strip on the back, and you just slide it and it takes a meal away. Slide it, takes a meal away. Slide it, takes a meal away. And they have all sorts of food for all sorts of people. We have like normal cafeteria food. They have Chick-fil-A, Smoothie King, Papa John's, sandwich, salad places, pizza place. Like they have lots of options, so that you didn't have to have the same period. Yep.
What if you only get a smoothie? Would that be one meal?
It sort of depends. Usually you didn't use your meals. It would do a combination of like meals and then just like cash as well. They divvy it up some way. And so smoothies would usually come out of the cash part. Yeah. Okay. Bikes, again, you don't have to buy a bike, but yes, if you have to, have a bike, it costs money. People at A&M, their favorite thing to do is to find an unlocked bike and then put it in a tree. It's really fun because you walk in class and you see a bike in a tree. And you don't take it. Yeah, technically, but if you didn't lock it up, you're gone. Okay. And then textbooks, you do have to pay for your own textbooks in college. I would say that's probably on par. It is probably a little high. So again, ways to get around this is this is why my generation uses textbooks so much, is because you will buy the textbooks, but then we'll sell them on to the next person, and to the next person, and the next person. Okay, but there are professors out there who write their own textbooks, and they will make you buy the newest and bluest version of that textbook. They'll ask you the most random questions on the footnotes that's on the underside of this one picture on page 412, and there'll be a test question on it, and you'll only know it if you have the newest textbook. And they'll do that. But I would say a lot of times you can get them for resale and stuff like that. Yes, sir.
$950 per year for 4 years.
That's per year. That's what it says for each year. again, it sort of depends on your major and the things that you do, okay? Ways to pay, we talked about all of those.
It's normal to carry the suitcase.
So you would leave that suitcase in your dorm where you're living, okay? So let's finish up this page and then we can go look at those random things. So financial aid, again, is just aid. Aid means help with your finances, with your monies. Okay, grants, scholarships, and work study programs and loans are all types of financial aid. Second, I have to recalibrate. All right, loans can be from either the federal or private lenders or the federal government. Okay, again, either banks, private lenders is like banks, or again, the government can help you pay. But for loans, do we have to pay those back or do we get to keep them? Loans you have to pay back. And to qualify for the loans from the government, you have to fill out what's called the FAFSA. F-A-F-S-A. Anyone want to take a guess at what that means? Go for it.
Association.
Financial Kennedy, what is it?
Free application for federal.
Okay, one more time, Kennedy.
Free application for federal aid.
I wonder how she knew that.
Right.
Okay, so it's the free application. It is free to apply for that financial aid, but you have to fill out the application. Okay? Every year around January time is when you fill out that FAFSA. Okay? All you're going to hear about is the FAFSA. The only form of financial aid that needs to be paid back are nope. What is the financial that you have to pay back? Loans.
Oh, yes.
Which have interest, but it's on the loan. Okay? So just looking at how to pay for college. So we're going to do one little problem together, and then I'll let you be on your own. So it says that the annual tuition for Rhoda's 2-year college of choice is $5,485 per year. Okay, so let's break down that sentence. Annual tuition, that means, how long is annual? It's a year. That's 1 year. Tuition for her 2-year college is $5,485. Rhoda has a grant and a scholarship that is shown in this little thing to help her pay. We need to figure out how much more does she need to pay for tuition for both years. So what we're going to do is we're going to break that down. First, we're going to find all the costs of college. So how do I find the cost?
540.
That amount times 2, because it's a 2-year college. Okay, 5 by 2 is 10. 8 by 2 plus 1, that's going to be 16. 17, carry the 1. 4 by 2, great. And then 5 by 2. Okay, so that's how much it's going to cost for her to go for 2 years. But she has some help. Let's calculate that help. Scholarships, it says she has $2,000 each year for 2 years. So in total, she will have $4,000. We're going to take that $2,000 and multiply it by 2 to get $4,000. Her grant is $1,800 for the first year. Do we multiply that? No, it just leaves it at $1,800, and we're going to combine it. We're going to add it to that $4,000 in scholarships. Okay? So, what is our last step to figure out how much she has left? Subtract those two numbers. Okay? So, she only needs to worry about the last $5,170. Yes, that is still quite a bit of money, but she's getting about half of it paid. Okay, so that isn't too bad. Okay, so 2 things for homework. 1, that Throwback Thursday week 2 is due tomorrow. If you need an extra copy, I probably have some. In addition, this is partner work, so let's just go straight. We're not gonna have time. Oh, so y'all have homework? Okay, so how many questions do y'all have? Let's just do that back side for homework. Okay, 1 through 6.